Okay, hi everyone, my name is Randy Pertler. Thanks for coming out on a Friday. Most of you came up through my meetup group. I know Michelle's got a couple in her meetup group. We decided to combine it for tonight instead of her earlier one. So if you haven't signed in, please just want to keep track of who's making it, who's here. Just put down your name, email address, and phone number. I haven't contacted anybody yet from these property tours. I was doing them every week for a while, and then I'm now probably going to do them every 2 weeks, because when I first started, I was getting people signed up for this media group, like right left. I mean, it was like, it went to 100 pretty quick. So we had a lot of people signing up like every couple days, so I felt like, well, we probably need to do it every week, and now it's slowed down a little bit, and we'll probably do them every other week. But at the end, I'm going to talk about why we're doing this, what this is all about. And first of all, it is an opportunity to network. So when I'm done, hang around, exchange business cards, tell people what you do for a living. So it's a networking opportunity without a doubt. And I wanted to expose some people to real estate investing. How many people have already either flipped a property or have rental property? Okay, oh good. All right, we got some veterans. Should know what they're doing. I'll be picking on them and see their expertise. When I got started as a real estate investor, it was way back when I lived in Michigan. It was in the 80s when I was a teacher and coach. And so I dabbled in it a little bit, then sold those properties off, accumulated quite a few rental properties there, pursued a career in educational publishing. That's what got me to the Chicago area, and I've been here ever since. And then I slowly started getting back into real estate in about 2008. Now I do it full time. And I learned a lot. Back then I didn't know what I didn't know. Basically I had money, so I was spending my money and buying real estate. I thought I was a real estate investor, and I learned later that I really wasn't. I was missing a large part of what being a real estate investor is all about. And so I'm going to share some of those things with you. And when we're done, I'm going to talk about how you can work with us if you'd like to work with us, or how you can get trained by us if you'd like to get trained by us. Or if you just want to just keep coming to property tours, you'll know what it's all about, and you can see whether or not you want to come back for more. So anyway, just a brief little bio about myself. I think to date I've probably done close to 100 real estate deals, quite a few wholesale deals and so forth. And if you don't know what that is, we can talk about that after the presentation. So here's the lovely property that we're at right now. This is owned by, we don't buy real estate in our own name. Why don't we buy real estate in our own name? Liability, right? One of you characters here tonight trip on something. Oh, I'm suing Randy for everything he's got. First of all, Randy doesn't have anything. All right, so you can't. But the other thing, it's not even owned by Randy. It's owned by an LLC, a limited liability company. This particular, we've got I'm a part of about probably about 11 of them. This is one. God is Great LLC, and the partners is myself and the Michelle's over there, and her husband. They're also partners. They're actually what's called equity partners, and I'll explain what that is. And Frank and Dawn, a couple other friends, they're a part of it as well. I just realized when I was in front of a group last night, briefly talking about this particular project, that this is called God is Great LLC, and we got this property under contract in 7 days. I don't know if there's any correlation between, the world in 7 days and the flip under contract in 7 days. Maybe that's just coincidental, but I like to think not. So this is what the property looks like now. This is the picture if you look at up on the county website. They must have liked the Cubs and the ivy, I guess, because they just let it go wild. I guess it was even worse than that at one time. When we bought it, it was pretty much looked like this. We haven't done a lot, didn't have to do a lot to the outside. We're not going to have to do a lot to the outside. Though when the person made the offer, like I say, it was only on the market 7 days, and we got the offer was $2,000 less than what we listed it for. And I actually inflated the listing price, I thought about $10,000 for what I ever thought I would get. And so we were very, very happy with how things turned out. They did ask us to put a fence. There's a fence 3 sides, but there's no fence between these two, which I would never put a fence. Actually, it's going to make the yard look smaller. That's one reason I would have never put a fence to show the property that way. But they actually have a dog. So that's the reason why they asked us to put a fence up, and we will. When they're going to pay full price, we'll do a lot for you. So that was one thing that we are going to do to the outside. The other thing that might make it look like it, because we replaced all the windows, so that from the outside is going to look nice. But look at the lovely kitchen before. So imagine yourself looking at this house, as we did, I think it was in September, going in there, and we walked into a doorway, which was right here was the door. Actually, I think right here was the door. And we looked in, and that's the beautiful kitchen we saw. Now, can you imagine this kitchen when you see that? You have to, obviously, if you're going to be a flipper and doing any type of rehab as well. But that's the beauty. When I look online and I see someone sends me I'm part of a real estate group. There's a lot of people involved in it, and they'll send me possible deals. And I start looking at these deals, and the kitchen's already done and it's beautiful. I'm like, where's the spread there? You know? Oh, you just do carpet and paint. Well, if you just do carpet and paint, why doesn't the owner just do carpet and paint and sell it for $30,000 more than what they're asking? So there's a little bit of reality check there. So we eliminated the wall. There was a wall right here. We took that wall out. There was like this little planter thing. I think you'll see it here in a minute. So that was that wall where the refrigerator is. This is that. I thought I had it. Maybe it's coming up. Yeah, it's one of the other pictures. That was a kind of broken down addition that was there. Usually I don't eliminate that because I want as much square foot as possible to make sure that it appraises at the highest price possible. But that was kind of an eyesore back there, and aesthetically when you look from the back, you got this beautiful brick Georgian style, and then you had this look like a pimple on the back. It was just bad. So the other thing is, it just had a single, like a regular doorway. This opened it up, so we put in that double sliding door that was not there. That's what it looked like before. Looking at that fireplace, that was the before picture. This was paneling, wood paneling up there instead of the stone. Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it? See, she agrees. Yeah. This is, again, another shot of that corner over there. Here's where you can see this. They had like a built-in planter type thing. It was actually concrete, and it was hiding they did a poor job. A lot of these older homes, they converted them from radiator heat to furnace, forced air, and at the time they didn't really know what they were doing, or they didn't have high efficiency furnaces, and the ductwork a lot of times is just messed up bad. Like when you went down there before, you would have been like this in this basement down there, ducking on the ductwork. So that gives number one, opens this up, because this was a heat duct. I don't think this is a return. I actually think that was a heat duct. So opening that up, opening all this up. By the way, these are new hardwood floors here. Upstairs are refinished. We thought we could just refinish the upstairs, but I'm sorry, down here. But there was a couple spots that were really pretty bad. But usually, if you go with a darker stain like we do, it usually hides most of the blemishes. And if you look upstairs, that floor is probably 50 years old or something, and it still looks beautiful when you redo it. This was a bathroom. There was only one bathroom upstairs. We made it into 2 bath. We actually took a hallway and a closet and made it into that small little common bathroom that you see at the top. Because I wanted to put a master. Most of these older homes, they weren't built with master bedrooms and bathrooms back in the day. So if you can have an older home with a master bedroom and bathroom, that's a huge plus. People are looking for that. So we turned this joined bathroom, which had a hallway. You entered the hallway here. Whoops, I'm sorry. Actually, entered the hallway in this direction, and you went this way, and it was cupboards, and this way was the bathtub. We reversed it. We plugged this off. The door entry is from here into the master, and this little hallway is part of that other bathroom that we have up there. So that's the same wall. There's the window. That's that same window right there. So it had cabinets, and the toilet was over there. Okay, now it's got the bathtub. Do you notice that there's a step up to the bathroom? Bathtub, isn't that nice, kind of classy? Well, it was actually functionally, we had to do it because the stairs were on an angle right here, and it was hidden by this. The stairs is on an angle right here, so we couldn't put a flat bathtub on the floor. So we can correct that. And actually, I think it was Michelle's husband that first came up with it. Yeah, we could raise that up. We could put a step. And see, now that's what we call wow factor. We want to have 7 wow factors when we do a flip. So when you walked in, did anybody say wow when they looked at that fireplace? Or wow when they see that kitchen? Or wow when you look at these floors? I mean, that's how I react. Wow, look at that. Wow, look at that depth. If you get somebody to say 7 times wow when they're looking at the house, there's a good chance you're going to get an offer. So this could be a wow factor instead of an eyesore or figuring out how to do it. This is that little half bath when you first walk in. I know you love that blue tile. I think when I grew up in the 70s, I think we had the tile like that in one of our bathrooms, as I recall. There's the stairway going up. Took the carpet out, and under that carpet, a lot of times these older homes, they have hardwood floors under the carpet. We were able to redo the top surface of the stairs. In this bottom, we had to add that's new. If you look at it, it doesn't match exactly, but that's new wood on the faces of the stairs. And on the tops of them, that's the original. And then obviously a lot nicer with the little, with this railing that we have there now. That's that half bath. So this was what that half bath was. It was a hallway and then a closet over there. And if you go to that, if you go back upstairs, in fact, some people, if they're watching this, then they want to go back and say, okay, now wait a minute, you said this was a, because you'll get a better appreciation for the walkthrough now. But, so we eliminated the closet for, in that master bedroom that's right here, so then now we got to come up with a closet, right? What we end up doing is taking out a section of the bedroom that's over in this corner. Right now it looks natural, you probably never see it, or never notice it, but if you look down the hallway, when you first get up the stairs and look down the hallway, you can see that there's a door like this, and then it kind of goes out and then into the bedroom above here. That's because that's now the master closet. But there was a problem with that. That had a window in there. So what we end up doing is, even though we put new windows, nobody, the person will probably live here for 30 years, and then one day they'll be outside and they'll say, wait a minute, is there 2 windows in our bedroom or 1? Because that window is now covered up with drywall. It's a closet. But you never see it. Looks great from the outside, it looks great from the inside. So see that window right there? When you go up the stairs, look, there's no window there. It bows out like this, and that's the closet for the master, this is the master bedroom going right in through there. So there's that's this bedroom right up here. I remember that because it had an old bed in there. So you see that nice carpet, that's what the floor looked like when we bought it, that's what it looks like now. That's that smaller bedroom in that corner. This is the master bedroom, that corner right up there. This has beautiful windows. My guy put, see all that was not all there, that molding above the windows, that wasn't there. This is in the basement, kind of before and after. This is coming down. And also in the basement, we put drain tile. I don't know if you noticed that, but if you go back into the laundry area, there's a sump pump down there. Okay, so what we did was, we dug down all the way around the edge of this building. It's dug down about that deep, putting drain tile in, then you put like this apron that goes up, a membrane that goes up about this high, all the way around, so if there's any water that comes in through the side of the house, the basement, it goes down. I haven't even been downstairs, I assume. Did anybody see any water down there? Okay, remember all the rain we got? All right, it all goes out the sump pump. So that's, anybody want to guess how much that costs to do that on this basement?
5,000?
5,000?
No, 10 grand. Yeah, 10, 15.
If you just went to a contractor who didn't have a guy, like I got a guy, okay? Okay, my guy does it for about 35 to 4, about 3,500 to 4,000. You know, so 5 would have been, you know, you probably could get somebody doing, you know, 5,000. And this is not as big. We're doing another one, another project together that we're doing in Evergreen Park, and the house is about twice as big, the basement's twice as big. But we were able to negotiate the price to them because we say, hey, I got a guy that'll do it for 4, and the plumber ended up doing it for 4,000. But you're right, it could be really, really expensive. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that something you do with most of your house that you buy?
Yeah, a lot of them. If the basement's going to be, especially anything probably, let's say over 200,000, yeah. And if the basement really want that as living space, we do it. Yeah, and a lot of them. Yeah. We're doing one in Evergreen Park, a much smaller project or smaller house. It's not really a smaller project because there's issues there, but we're not doing that. That's one of the first ones we haven't done in a while. And that one is primarily because of the price point. We're trying to keep that under 200,000. We've converted a 2-bedroom into a 3-bedroom, so there could be a really nice profit on there. But if we're not going to do that in, we definitely would always do tile down there. If we're not going to do it, we could put carpet. I mean, when you do that type where you can save money, we could have put carpet down there. And I go back and forth. You know, tile's really nice. It's kind of a wow factor. Carpet feels nice and warm though when you're down there in the winter and stuff. So you could go either way, but you know, you can save money if you do carpet. That's all of it. And somebody asked me about how many bedrooms. Technically, this is not a bedroom because that's not a legal escape window. If you do that and actually have a window well and do it all to code and everything, that can cost as much as $3,000 to $4,000 to put in a window with the drain system and everything that you need to put in there then. So we don't. We're not going to. We advertise. I think they said something like 3 plus 1, 3 bedrooms plus additional bedroom additional room in the basement. They may or may not use it that way. But actually, I feel pretty good because you could get out of that window. Most people could get out of the window if they needed to be. out of there. This is the laundry room area. Okay, I'm going to talk about how we finance this. How many people think I came up with all the money to do this deal? So I'm going to tell you how I fund these deals, how you can do multiple deals. Some of the people that have done real estate before, maybe you raise money in a similar way. But raising money is real important. Before I get to that though, let me ask the question. Do you guys have any questions about what we did, what we didn't do as far as the rehab goes?
Deciding between carpet and tile in the basement, does it change much of the value? Because carpeting is not as desirable as it used to be.
Yeah, I would say, and that's why we went with the tile. It's more of a wow factor. It's more desirable, especially in the basement. Because even though we really tried to, and the listing stress that we put in drain tile in the basement, you know, all that kind of stuff, some people might not even know what that means, or they might not really think much about it. So if it had carpet in there, they might kind of back off and say, well, what if this gets wet, or this might get, moldy or whatever. So yeah, I think, that's why we did it. Every decision we make, it's based on a, profit loss type analysis, and we thought to put it in, which might be an additional, I might be talking about net size of basement. I got a really inexpensive carpet guy, so we're probably talking $2,000 difference, what I could have had a carpet guy do that for. Without the bathroom, of course, but just the other area, not the laundry room. Probably about, could be as much as a $2,000 difference, but it was worth it. Yeah.
Did you have to hire an architect? Because you changed a lot of the core structure.
Well, this one, a lot of them we do have to hire an architect. I got an architect fairly inexpensive. This one, we didn't have to because we were, the only thing that we actually removed, everything else we actually built up. Like the bathroom we actually built, we put more support than was there. This one, we brought the support back about 3 feet. When we sent in for the permit, they didn't ask us, they didn't follow up with that. So, but a lot of them, Evergreen Park, for example, we're doing a lot of flips there now. They require architectural plans, whether you're just painting and carpet, and it's like ridiculous. Wow. I'm changing out the cabinet, where's your architectural plans? And they also require a plot survey. Wow. And $10,000 escrow that they hang on to your money until your project's done. So a lot of people will back off of that, but we're seeing opportunities there because a lot less investors then want to have that headache, so we're doing that headache. And we're, making some good profits there. And I just looked at a house yesterday. We'll probably make an offer on another one in Evergreen Park. Good question, though. Good question. A lot of times you will have to do it. Yeah.
I noticed the square footage changed from when we bought it. I assume. I looked at the house history.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was somewhere around 1,700 square feet, and now it's listed at 2,000.
Well, and that's the thing. The listing agents, and this one, the broker that brought this to me, he's actually on my team. He's part of the education group that I'm in, a training group. So I kind of let him do the listing. If he wants to count the basement and square footage. There for a while, it was pretty strict. You couldn't have the basement counted as square footage, and then brokers started doing it anyway. And it's like, wait a minute, it's an uneven playing field. Now, the MLS will pretty much let you do it either way.
Okay.
So I think it's just, because we didn't do any addition. We didn't expand anything at all. The square footage did not change from when we bought it. In fact, it subtracted a little bit because there was a little thing there that we got rid of. So technically, it probably did subtract a little bit, but it didn't add. But I think it's because he counted the basement as square footage, probably in the listing. Okay, good question. Any other, then we're going to talk about financing and becoming a real estate investor. And okay, so of the people that have done real estate, how many people have flipped more than 5 properties? Good for you.
Over the course of like a decade.
That's okay. 5 properties or 5 properties, good for you, okay? And then how many people have rental properties, over 5 rental properties? Okay, over 10? Very good. Yeah, I don't know, that's, people always ask me, how many properties? And you know what, I forget because I couldn't tell you the number right now because, not that it's like hundreds or anything, it's just that I'll sell one and then I'll pick up one and then I'll sell one and I'll pick up one and, I count doors, how many units versus, it's just, but anyway, good for you. Okay, so let me show you one of the models that I use to raise capital and to fund real estate deals. Raising capital is very important. I always make the joke and make the analogy this way. It's like somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, listen, I understand real estate, I got it, I'm reading books and everything. All I do is if I just had the money, I'd be a great real estate investor. If I just had the money, I'd be a successful real estate investor." What I tell them is, that's like saying, if I could just sing, I could win a Grammy. Well, yeah, it's pretty important, right? Being able to raise the capital is as important, even more important than finding the property or knowing what to fix or to sell the property. Okay, if you look what real estate investing is finding the property, okay, finding the money, and then your exit strategy, whether that's selling it on a flip or renting it out and getting that cash flow every single month. So you've got to learn how to raise capital ethically, honestly, and legally, okay? Because it can get people in a lot of trouble, and it has got people in a lot of trouble. This is one model that I use. Almost all my deals are done this way, very few exceptions. This is taught, at the end I'm going to talk about if you want to be trained by us, but the training that we teach, or that Michelle and I have gone through, and if you're interested, we'll tell you more about it. In that particular training, the instructors have to have made at least $1 million in every area that they're teaching. So the fix and flip instructors, there are actually 2 of them, they've made over $1 million using this model right here, and they've raised about, well, it's in excess of $7 million that they have access to all the time that they do their flips. So this is the same model that I follow as well. It's very successful. We call it an equity partnership model. And I have equity partners. And the equity partners, that could be one or more than one, the equity partners provide 100% of the money. All the funding comes from the equity partners, okay? I'm what's called a service partner. This is my company, one of my companies, onlineowners.com. This is an S-Corp. I am the service provider, so I'm the partner here that does 100% of the work. I have the expertise, the training, and so forth. So I do all the work, and then we split the profits 50-50. Keep in mind that if I don't make this guy, the partner's money, I don't get paid. So I can work on a project for 6 months, and my blood, sweat, and tears into it, and if I don't make them money, I don't get paid. Okay? They'll get their money back, but I won't get my time back, right? So I try to use the example like this. Let's say you want to open up a restaurant and you open up a Panera Bread, okay? The fact that they're funding it and then they're not paying me unless I make them money, that would be like opening up a Panera Bread and then going to all the employees and say, listen, I want you to work hard for me every day, but I'm not paying you unless you make me money. Who's going to sign up for that job? Nobody, right? But I'm signing up for that job. So before you think, oh man, you got it easy. No, I'm going to work and I don't even guarantee that I get paid. I can do all this work and not make any money whatsoever. So until you're comfortable with this and know how to do it, you're going to have struggling trying to use all your own money or all your own credit to do all your real estate. So this is very important. We have many 8-hour classes just on raising money, legally, ethically, by a guy that's a CPA, an attorney, a real estate investor, an author. He's the guy that teaches that. Now I mentioned an equity partner. In this case I have Michelle and her husband, and I have Frank and his wife. So there's a few equity partners in here. How many equity partners can we have to get this money? How about the savvy real estate investors in the room? Is there a limit? How many can I have? Doesn't it seem like you should have as many as you want, right? Doesn't that seem right? Well, what difference does it make? That can get you 10 to 20. Really? And I'm not talking properties, I'm talking years in the penitentiary. Okay? What it is, if you go over and there's not a hard, the law does not say an exact number, so it would go to court and it would be in the judge's opinion. Here's where you're in jeopardy of violating securities laws. If you have too many, it's not a partnership, they don't have a real say in what's going on, and guess what? I'm attracting money, you need a securities license, and this company needs to be set up as a company that can accept money as a securities, or you need to do a PPM, which is private placement memorandum. So if you want to pursue real estate and really do it right, that's just a little example of how you can have a good heart and be an honest person and break the law out of ignorance and find yourself in a severe penalty, take you out of your business probably forever, or even do jail time. if the courts feel like you did it knowingly or that there's a, substantial abuse. So that's just a little subtle thing about, oh wow, great idea, where a little bit of knowledge could make you very dangerous to yourself and to others. So anyway, there's a lot of information about that, and again, we've got 8-hour classes just to make sure that you get protected on it. Okay. Any questions about this equity partnership model? Yeah.
What was the number?
Oh, great. Good. Following along. I don't want to see you in jail. If you can keep it under 6, you're probably in really, really good shape. The most I've ever had was 6. And that's a little bit of gray area. Once you go beyond that, and again, there's not a hard number, but our advisor, the attorney, CPA, real estate investor, his name is Mark Kohler. You can look him up online. He's written all kinds of books. So Mark is very comfortable defending you and counseling you to do up to 6. If it's more than that, it can get in trouble. Okay? So some people ask me, and I'll show at the end how you might want to get involved with us as one of our equity partners. So people say, well, how much money do you need to invest? Well, it's not that there's a certain amount, but think about it. If a flip is going to take $200,000, if I need $200,000 minimum, let's say, in that LLC, well, divide that by 5, and that's what, $40,000 each, right? So it's not that everybody would have to contribute 40, but if someone did 20, someone else got to do 60 in order to make those numbers work. Okay? Any other questions? Those are really good questions. Yeah.
Did you use this model when you first started?
No, I didn't really know about it. About the 4th, 5th rental property I did, I actually kind of unknowingly did kind of a hybrid of this. It was for a different purpose, and I still have those LLCs. And the percentages are a little bit different, but yeah. But you know what? At that time, I didn't even know about that I was limited. You know what I mean? I mean, I could have accidentally put 8 people in there, and I could have gotten myself in trouble. Yeah.
I noticed a lot of real estate investors incorporate as an LLC, but you also have an S corp there. How expensive is it to do an LLC? I did a little due diligence on the Secretary of State's website,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was like $700 to form an LLC.
Yeah.
How expensive is it to form an S corp?
Okay.
And what can you do with
These
that?
are great questions, and I'm going to answer you very briefly, but you can see why we could spend 2 hours, you know what I mean? And if you want, but that's a great question. Mark Kohler does a great job. It's really, there's 2 things, when you look at questions like that, there's 2 things you got to consider. It's the tax laws and then your protection, okay, of what type. So this is why I love about Mark Kohler being our instructor, is he's both a CPA and attorney. So if you ask your CPA, hey, I'm going to do some flips, what should I use? He'll say, oh, just use an S corp, no problem. Well, I've got this part, they can use an S corp, because they're just looking at it for tax purposes. If you ask an attorney, they're saying, are you crazy? You got to protect yourself. It's got to be in an LLC, because that provides the protection. See, what I have structured is I have both. I have the protection. Anytime that you are going to go in partnership with somebody, it should be within an LLC, even if it's your S corp doing it. Big mistake. You and I both have S corps and we're going to buy a property together. Not a bad idea. We should form an LLC to protect both of our companies. Okay? So it depends. Tax, you do part of the purpose for taxes, part of the purpose is for legal protection. And you're right about if you're going to have an attorney set it up or a CPA set it up, they'll probably tack on, and that might be about $1,000, $1,200. We even had one that we did with $2,500. Was one that we put together. It's a little bit more complex, but not that much. But one of the partners wanted to use this attorney and so forth. And I have what's called a series LLC. You guys know what a series LLC is?
You can add to it.
Someone tell them.
You can add to it. You can add business entities to it.
Kind of, yeah, you're kind of there. Anybody else a little?
You gotta have multiple LLCs underneath an LLC without having to create LLCs by themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of a hybrid. Yeah, it's like what both of you are saying. So I don't think I have that. Thought maybe I had a slide on that. So I have in one of my series LLC, I have EJ&R Investments LLC, and then I have 9 cells underneath that. So I only had to pay for the setup of the original one, so one reason they do it is savings, okay? So I have this, now if we have the same partners, we can actually just do one tax return if exactly the same ownership is in all of the LLCs and it's the same ownership configuration. Mine aren't. I don't have any two of the 9 series LLCs that I have. No two are exactly alike, okay? So we actually, if we file a return for every one of those, we get K1s, I should say, and every one of those, and then we do have a return for that. So, but an LLC, the reason I do a series LLC is it is a lot less expensive. So they might charge you, instead of $1,000, they might charge you $1,500, $2,000 to set that up, but then everyone under that only costs, I think, $50 to the state to register that with the state. So if someone's doing it for you, they might charge you $150, $200, something like that. So that's an advantage. And therefore, for a long time, it was only available in 7 states. Now they've expanded. Illinois was one of those states. Other states, they haven't allowed those yet. So a series LLC is a possibility. Why would you want a series LLC if it's just, let's say it's Michelle and I in an LLC, why might we want a series LLC? If
Bring
it's
on
just gonna
an
be the
extra
same.
partner,
What's that?
bring on an extra partner, somebody.
Let's say we're not bringing on extra partners. Certainly if you're bringing on an extra partner, great reason, because it could be a different configuration and a different, well, let's just say her and I are gonna do 10 properties. Do we want to do that in one LLC or a series LLC?
Series.
Separate.
Why a series?
So all the properties are
Protect your assets.
Yeah, again, protect your assets, exactly, right? Cover your assets. So if we have one of those in each one, if something goes wrong with one house, we have one house exposed, we don't have all 10 exposed, right? So anyway, that's why you do it, why you separate that out, and again, that's the protection. You don't do it for tax reasons, you do it for protection. Okay. Let's just talk a little bit about real estate, because we have a few people, quite a few people have not flipped a property or are involved in real estate, but you're here probably because you're interested, right? You saw something online and real estate investing sounds sexy. I want to see if it sounds cool. Let's see what's that all about. But I do it for, a financial reason, something I really believe in. There's been retirement accounts, retirement plans now for decades. So we've got good history of what is the